Among my roles, one of the things that I have the pleasure of doing is being education director for Isotope, and we get to partner with interesting artists who are doing creative things in the world that push the boundaries of technology, and in doing so foster artistry and creativity. And so I have the great pleasure of having worked with and introducing for you someone who not only understands artistry and creativity, but is enormously creative herself. And I think that's all I need to say. The woman who needs no introduction, I introduce Sylvia Massy.
Thank you, Jonathan. I'd love to do some question and answer if we have time. And thank you for listening to my interesting PowerPoint presentation. Oh, yes, and one more thing. Buy my book. This is the Recording Unhinged book. There's a new one coming out. I am just talking with my publisher on Son of Unhinged. And soon, within the next year, you will see the great vintage microphone book, which is going to be like no other vintage microphone book. It will be an encyclopedia of all the history of microphone making and all the models that make a difference. So be looking out for that too. All right, let's take some questions.
We have time for a couple of questions, but
Okay.
one piece of housekeeping before we all leave. When you depart, please just take your headsets off and leave them on the chair so that we don't have to collect them at the front. And who's got our first question? Is it Leslie? Why, yes, it is.
Thanks, Glenn. Hi, Sylvia.
Hi, Leslie.
I have a question about dreaming sounds. So if you have you ever had the experience of having a sound in your head and then trying to capture it, and have you ever done that?
Oh man, that sounds fantastic. I have had melodies stuck in my head, like I'm songwriting while I'm sleeping, and then I wake up and I immediately grab my phone and I put that down. There has been a few times when I've heard something and then tried to remember it later. That is a very difficult thing to do. Does that happen to you?
Yes, it did happen to me once, and I actually, not to brag, but I dreamt of something in reverse. So when I went to record it, I had to record it front ways so that when I played it backwards, it would sound like what I heard in my head.
Did it work?
It worked, yeah, it was really cool.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Thanks.
Cool. Oh, hang on. One over here first.
So, hey, how's it going?
Hi.
So you mentioned you take all the, mics and amps, or, you have all these channels,
Yep.
bust them all into one.
Yeah.
How do you just commit to a guitar tone? Because I have such a hard time just being like, this is going to be the guitar tone.
Do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. And then
Nice.
double it and triple it. You
Yeah.
know? And, that's the most difficult thing for me being a mixer now is people don't commit. And
Yeah.
then they can't make a decision, so they leave it up to me, the mixer, and then it's just so difficult, and I'll have to make a blend. The other thing is that oftentimes the phasing between several mics on a cab will be difficult. Somehow, when you buzz everything together, it'll sound stronger and better if you just commit. And just try it. Pretty soon you won't be scared.
Gotcha. Thank
All
you.
right.
Yeah, did you ever get 5 kick drum mics and have to mix 5 kick drum mics?
That sounds awful.
Hello.
Hi.
One of the things I noticed when you were showing off your avant-garde sound experimentations, which I think is perfectly wonderful, is how did the avant-garde music movement influence this? And two, with the drums and the items that you placed inside of it, is very much like John Cage's prepared piano.
I have done prepared piano.
Yeah.
Yes. And then Karl-Heinz Stockhausen is also a huge inspiration in that, and especially the helicopter recordings that he did, where he had a different string player above the ground in 4 separate helicopters, and it was a string quartet that was. I think they call it the helicopter quartet. Anyway, these kind of ideas are so inspirational. Prepared piano. If you don't know what prepared piano is, it's basically taking any piano, really, and then putting things within the strings. You could put pieces of paper, you could put silverware, you could put pencils, or anything. The trick is that you're doing something that you can take away later without damaging the instrument. That's what prepared piano is. And you get different effects depending on which key you hit, and you may have several things in your piano. Certain studios don't like that, but it's a really adventurous way of recording. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up.
Hi. So I was just curious. Are there any times when you had a really cool, creative recording idea, but the artist didn't want to do it?
Oh, several times, and that's fine. It's their record. My job is just to throw out ideas. If I can be of help, I'm trying to inspire them to come up with an idea. So if I throw out something and they come back with something better, especially, or something different, it doesn't matter. Let's do that, and more times than not, that it does help to enhance their creative experience, So yeah, you can't be precious. It's not your music. If you're the engineer or producer, you have to step back and just say, well, this is not my thing. Let them, help them. Yeah.
We just have another minute with Sylvia. Do we have time for one last
Darn, it went
question?
so fast.
All right, here we go.
Hi. Have you used convolution to modify the sounds?
Now, I haven't modified convolution. I've used previously recorded convolution, but this is something else that I'm really interested in. As well, I'm very interested in object mixing, which is multi-channel mixing for surround or for immersive, which has you take instruments or sounds and you place them in a 360-degree field. Dolby has the Atmos system, which is object-based. So there's things with software that I haven't entirely explored to the limit yet, but that's a good point. The convolution is really great. Have you done some?
Yes, you take a cymbal and you play a guitar through it. It's very fascinating.
A cymbal and you play a guitar through it.
You take an impulse of a cymbal or something dropped on a cymbal.
Yes.
And then you play the guitar through it.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Well, that's a whole new thing. Oh, boy. I know what I'm going to be doing next week. Thanks for that. All right.
Cool. Did you ever think of going to all of your engineer friends and saying, what do you do? What's the wackiest thing you've ever done?
I do. And that's what, that's where this Recording Unhinged book came from. There's 35 different engineers who contributed to that volume. The next one, hopefully, Glenn, you'll contribute to with your wackiest, funnest, most creative story.
Yeah, there have been a few. A couple of them involved guns, but
really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
the
I've done
ultimate
that
snare
too.
drum sound. Really?
Really? Have you shot it?
Yeah.
Shot?
Oh yeah.
Oh. No.
Yeah. You have to be outside. but-
Okay, you have to. That will be in the book then. I have shot a piano. Yeah. That was good.
We did a piano with what do they call the giant slingshot?
You did that? The
Yeah.
catapult?
Well, we did it on TV. Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, for Northern Exposure.
Did you record? That was you?
Yeah, that was they
That was
flung the
huge-
thing
that was-
a couple
did you
hundred
record
yards.
it?
Yeah,
Holy
it made an amazing
cow.
sound. But I forget the
Dude,
device, but
You're holding out.
Yes.
You're not letting us know the secret side of Glenn.
you're the star here, not me. Anyway, Sylvia, thank you so much for
Thank
spending your
you.
time with us,
Thank
ladies
you
and gentlemen.
very, very much.
Sylvia Massy.
Thanks very, very much.